So yeah, we're in one of the grow tents here, and this one is actually about to be restocked. It's actually most of the blocks in here have produced several flushes, so at this point we can harvest them this week and kind of get everything out of here. We have a little bit of turkey tail growing. This has actually been fruiting for a couple months now. We could see we made some incisions right here. Actually, I made some incisions right here, and we have some nice little turkey tail-like formations starting to come out. So turkey tail is a nice medicinal polypore mushroom, similar to reishi as being a polypore. Instead of having gills underneath, there's a bunch of little pores, and that's where actually the spores are produced and distributed from. That helps continue the life cycle of the mushroom. This is a super medicinal mushroom renowned for its anti-cancer properties. It produces a unique compound that aids in cancer treatment. A lot of people like utilizing it in conjunction with like chemotherapy and stuff like that. It's been used for quite a while, and it grows all over the place. It's a very prolific mushroom and very aggressive. As far as the mycelium goes, I've seen it colonize substrates usually within 5 to 7 days. It's one of the more aggressive ones. We've also cut the top off, and we have a little bit of turkey tail mushrooms growing right here at the top. Not much that it's producing at this point, but still something worth looking at. It also produces unique colors. The Latin name is Trametes versicolor, because it usually produces a bunch of unique colorations as it grows. So yeah, we could just see like different colors of browns and stuff like that. And in here we have some turkey tail growing that has a unique darker color. So I'm kind of just experimenting with it. It's not a mushroom that I grow too often or much at all. So, and then we also have some older reishi mushrooms. This is like a Ganoderma sessile, and this is definitely ready to harvest. And this was actually a bigger block at one point. The Ganodermas are just super aggressive digesters, so they're able to really make the most of the substrate. As we can see with some of the other strains here, we have some lucidum. So this is fully mature and ready to harvest. The mycelium has totally digested the substrate, which was once a tight-fitting block. And now the bag loosely hangs around it, and we can see the mushrooms have really gotten the most use out of the substrate. This has been growing for about 5 months, 5 to 6 months. So at this stage, we're ready to harvest. Also, we have some second and third flush lion's mane. After I top fruit them, we fold the bag back down and just make a nice incision, and we can still get copious amounts of lion's mane all the way up to the third or fourth flush. It really gets the most out of the substrate and produces for quite a while. And it's definitely a popular mushroom, producing these nice teeth-like elongations instead of having the traditional cap and stem. It brings out a wonderful texture when used in dishes. Some people like to saute it in a garlic butter and kind of use it as like a crab or lobster substitute. And it's also renowned for the medicinal benefits. It helps and aids in cognitive function and stuff like that. So there's a lot of research out on this mushroom, but I just think it's fun to grow and just a beauty to look at and a beauty to work with. One of my favorites. There's some side fruited lion's mane. Another thing you can do is after harvesting, you can kind of just lay the block back down and it'll just keep producing mushrooms right out the side. It's another cool way to grow it. So whatever the preference is, it'll work. Here we just have some lion's mane at just different stages. And these are probably just a couple days old. Over the next couple days, we'll really start to see these develop, and the icicle teeth-like formations will begin to elongate, and they'll be ready to harvest within 4 to 5 days. So just another mushroom that we love growing.
See all the battle scars from the failed attempts of getting it perfectly in the door. Right now, we're just taking the bags, the sterile, sealed bags from the lab into the other warehouse so we can stack them on the pallet, wrap them up, prepare them for shipping in a big truck. So we got like 200 more of these to stack on the pallet. But working here since day one has taught me to appreciate this process. And like the process has gotten, I mean, 1,000 times easier since day one when I got here. When we were hand mixing this stuff, like I said, Mike is just like a different specimen of human. Like his strength, like what strength you need to perform a task doesn't matter to Mike. I swear to God, like it's insane. So when I got here, helping Mike do his stuff, I'm like, dude, this is way too hard for a normal person. Like the way he's doing things, you know? And even when we were mixing at first, I asked him, I said, is there an easier way to do this, dude? Like, is there like a industrial egg beater we could use for this? It's like a legit question I asked him. And he laughed, you know, he's like, no, but they make like concrete mixers, like pretty big concrete mixers that you can just roll around. And I'm like, can we please get that? And so we got it. And through my inability to keep up with Mike, that like catapulted us pretty far forward to like producing way more in a day. And then the idea of the concrete mixer just eventually turned to the idea of an industrial mixer like we have now. And now we have that, along with the bagger for different substrate. And the process is still as complex as ever, but the steps require less strain, I guess. Way more output, same amount of like time as far as effort goes, but like physical output, way less. And that's what I'm about, honestly. Minimal effort, maximum output. That's how I live my life. Been okay so far. I'll come back and get this table, and let's do it again.
Yeah, we're just getting all the substrate compiled onto pallets so it can be hauled off in a truck. So, yeah.
It's our all-star wrapper.
Yeah, the blocks are pretty big, so I figured it's easier just to put them on pallets and wrap them instead of trying to put them in boxes. So this way for now. This is actually our first time doing a big order of sterile substrate. We've done big orders of sterile grain spawn, and those are like the 6 or 7 pound bags. So those usually fit pretty nicely in boxes, and we can just stack them on pallets and have them shipped out. But yeah, it's really nice to be able to help people out like this. So.